welcome to our yoga class. We will look a little bit towards our center today, or rather this week, if you wish. So we're focusing on that is, so to say, our core, or what we see is our center. There's no real concept of where that needs to be. So it will be an exploration through various tools, as usual, as it's a complete class that we approach this topic with. So perhaps towards the end of the practice, you have a better idea of what it actually means for you to find your center. To prepare yourself, I've only put a block here and a blanket. You know, you can have other little tools with you, especially for relaxation. And then we shall get started. Today, I would like to begin in a prone position, which means a crocodile in our case. So I will lie down onto the front of the body, stacking the hands in front if that's available, and then resting the forehead down onto the stacked hands. So as you get reasonably comfortable in this form, the elbows will just slide out to the point where your shoulders feel really soft. And you almost have the feeling that your arms aren't carrying any weight at all. Once the upper body is resting down in this way, I'm suggesting to try both variations of leg placement in the crocodile. You might have the big toes together and the heels rolling out, which is the most commonly practiced position. But perhaps today, and only if it feels right for you, take the other approach where you open your legs wide as the mat and turn your toes outwards so that you're resting on the inner side of your feet and ankles. If this is possible for you and there's no discomfort in the body, keep it like this. If you prefer the big toes together and the heels rolling out, no excuses needed, practice it that way. So we'll begin in this position, and naturally you might have your eyes closed. I would ask you now to feel into the body, to notice where you're lying on the mat and the touch to the mat. Getting a sense of the space which you are taking up. Your elbows are out to the sides. Your legs might be wide. Feeling into those extreme outwardly pointing parts of your body. The elbows, maybe the top of the head, and even down towards your toes, or the heels for the matter if your toes are inward. And noticing that is the most outer part of you that you can feel. You might then trace around your body. You've already approached the front of the body. Feel into the back body. It might be touching, closing. It might be just touching the air. Exploring the skin where it touches, and perhaps even tracing over your whole body. Aware of your whole body and its outer edge, the skin, and where that is pointing. You might find it easier to draw the awareness inward. There's kind of a sense of the safety as well with this outer awareness. And as you begin to draw the awareness inward, you might not reach your center yet, and that's perfectly fine. No need to. What you might notice as you focus inward is the energy, the breath that flows through the nostrils, the power of the breath moving the body, You might have sensations around your abdomen, the organs. And this awareness might also, as the breath is moving these parts and creating life force and energy for you, you might also feel that there could be another layer just beyond your skin, an outer energy layer that you might have. Well, I'm pretty sure you do, but that you might be able to sense. So our whole practice today will be finding these outer edges of our being, our postures, and drawing the awareness from there within to explore what does it mean to be in our center. As you allow a few more breaths, filling your lungs, feeling the energy, we will then begin our first movement. As you might choose to extend your right arm out to the side at shoulder height, letting the right hand or palm touch the floor. The left hand might slide underneath the shoulder. Your legs come back in or out to about hip distance apart. Then start to push down into the left hand as you take a breath in and trying to roll onto the right shoulder. As you breathe out, come back out of the shape to the front of the body. If this was doable for you, otherwise you may stay here or keep the hand on the floor. Guide yourself back over to the right shoulder. Perhaps leave your head resting, the hand to push away, and if it feels right, lift your left leg, bend the knee, and you might land the foot or parts of the foot down behind you. That will give you another extension here through the hip, but also places more weight onto the right shoulder. Now hold here if it feels okay for you, and keep breathing as we stretch out one of our wings. Again, reaching outwards, finding boundaries, expanding our outer edges. Then slowly release your legs to touch. Roll onto the front of the body and slide the right arm in. Now resting, and I will quickly turn myself around so you can see, but you stay as you are. Now resting on your arm with the head as a cushion. The body ideally long, and perhaps you can lower your left arm to the upper side of the body. You might pause here for a moment. See if you can close the eyes or keep a steady gazing point, or rather both. And feel how much work is done here internally, and that might be your physical center working there to hold you in that side-lying Buddha form. You might then bend your left knee, your upper leg, and draw it in towards the nose as you might help your head towards the knee using your hand. You can then slide your hand down towards your ankle or foot. Bring the knee backwards behind you and the head into the hand to extend into the front of the body like we often do in the dancer. Breathe in. Breathe out, draw knee and nose back together. Hold of your ankle or foot. A breath in to open into the front of the body. Knee moves behind, foot into the hand, head into the hand. And again, hugging your knee in towards the chest, breathing out. We go for one last round. A breath in to expand. And another breath out to hug the knee in. Then release the leg and roll back onto the front of your body. Returning to that semi-crocodile pose as the front of the head is resting down again. Legs are long, straight out from your hips, and we're now extending into the left arm. Let the left arm reach out at shoulder height. Let the palm of your hand touch the floor. And then place the right hand just underneath the shoulder. And take a breath to push into the right hand and roll towards the left shoulder. Notice how that feels, and a breath out to come back onto the front. And we'll repeat that if it suits. If not, you may stay here, leave the hand on the ground and play with this movement. Or you might push the right hand down, roll onto that left shoulder, bend the right knee, and perhaps even place your foot behind the extended leg. And then holding here, the right hand is your support. You might experience some sensations in the hips, perhaps some in the shoulder. Now slowly rolling back onto the front of the body, bringing your left arm under just like a cushion as you come back onto your side. With the head resting in the cushion, perhaps your legs can come out long, and you might like to rest your right or upper arm onto the upper side of the body. Find a steady gazing point. And acknowledge, if you like, you can also close the eyes. Acknowledge that there is a movement happening. Where does that movement come from? What is enacting the balance of this form? Does it come from your center? Now drawing the right knee up towards the chest and helping your head to come towards the knee. Then take a hold of your ankle or the foot. Bring the foot back into the hand, the head into the hand, and start to open the front of the body. Deep breath in. Then come back to the hug of the knee, the nose towards the knee, your out breath. And repeat a couple of times, breathing in to open, breathing out to draw in, inhaling to open, and one last hug of the knee inward, releasing your leg, rolling back onto the front of the body, and sliding the hands now underneath the shoulders. On the breath in, help yourself up onto hands and knees, and perhaps starting to align yourself. If you need a bit of help for the knees, maybe using your blanket underneath the knees as a cushioning. If it's possible, spread your hands out. Find a stand on the hands. If you prefer, step onto fists and let your thumbs look forward. There's variations of this that you could do on the forearms if neither of this will work. Finding your stance here, grounding through the feet, grounding through the hands. On the breath in now, extending the right leg back. Keep stability as you might reach your left arm forward. The thumb of the left hand pointing upwards. On the breath out, could you now draw elbow, knee and nose together underneath? With the inhale, extending back out long. Out breath as you roll it under. Repeat the movement 3 more breaths. Inhale and exhale. Use your own length of breathing. And after your last round, extend your body once more. You might now bend the back knee and swing your left arm along the side of the body. If you can take a hold of the foot, do. If not, keep your arm along the side. Lift your knee anyway. Maybe lift the arm. If you're holding onto the foot, bring the foot back into the hand. Lift your gaze. Open the heart towards the front. And again, we've extended out, and now we're finding something where we need to find a center of balance. Releasing your hand back down, releasing your knee down. Take a breath out, round the spine, to back towards the heels. On the inhale, roll the spine back up, landing again on all fours. Readjust your stance so that the legs are down into the ground. Your wrists are slightly out from underneath the shoulders. As you find stability on all fours, beginning while you hold reasonably steady to extend the left leg back. Maintain stability as you might raise your right arm and turn the thumb upwards. Inhaling. Exhaling as you draw elbow, knee and nose together. On the inhalation, lengthen your spine, arm and leg. Exhale, curl it back under. Repeat the movement in your own time and breath for 3 more. Once you complete it, extending your body again. Left knee might bend, and the right arm could swing along the side of the body. If you wish to hold here, still lifting both, or perhaps you can even touch the foot. If you do, bring the foot into the hand. If not, raise the knee and the arm by your side. Lift your heart, gaze slightly forward. Then release the hand back down, the knee back down, round the spine, and find a little release sitting back towards the heels. As you sit back, you might bring your hands with the back of the hands touching down by the sides of the knees. As you lower your upper body, you might squeeze your elbows into the sides. And while this is a child's pose, you might get a little stretch there into the backs of the wrists. Take a few breaths. As you're now focusing inwards, the outer edges would have changed more round. There's still perhaps the same center sitting within you. With the next outburst now, begin to uncurl the spine to rise into a seated position. You can use the blanket to take a seat upon, or you could use your block if you wish. I will take a seat on the block and will change my posture to an easy pose. Now, if one leg in front of the other doesn't feel right for you, you might try a different variation where you could place your feet down comfortably like so. if you choose an easy pose, or today you might be sitting on a chair, have the legs a little bit wider, placing your hands upon the thighs or the knees. Now, as I'm in an easy pose, I will deliberately choose the more uncomfortable version, opposite leg in front. As you breathe in, start to lean forward. Open your chest, a gentle squeeze between the shoulder blades, the throat and the gaze might open. And as you breathe out, have a firm hold of your knees and round and lean into the back. Seated cat-cow. While you're breathing in, lifting forward. When you breathe out, leaning backwards. And let that flow in your own breath for a few rounds. Last round coming up. And after you round it, pause. And then start to curl up to a taller seat. Take the shoulders with you. Your hands might slide a bit back. And as you shrug the shoulders down, your hands might be much closer. Now, if you're in an easy pose, change to the comfortable side in front. If you're seated anywhere else, you might now sit as comfortable as you like. Legs your way, but spine is upright and tall. You could turn the palms of the hands to face upwards to help with shoulder placement. And you could choose to touch your index and thumbs together for Gyan Mudra. That mudra assisting us perhaps to find our center, but also for concentration in the upcoming breathing practice. So pranayama, you might lower your gaze or close the eyes. Take a breath out. And now inhaling. Exhaling. Inhaling. Exhaling. Inhaling. Exhaling. And continuing. You may count your breath to 4, which I've just done for you. Or you might stay with that even length of in and out breath coming through your nostrils. Notice what you're comfortable with and feel free to change the pace of the count to your liking. If you are counting, keep counting both ends of the breath by 4. And if you like, from there, you can add holding the breath. Not comfortable with it, have it short, maybe just a second, maybe count of 1 on each side. If it's possible, hold your breath for 4 after the inhalation and after the exhalation. If you do need to shorten the holds, that's perfectly okay, if not even required. Have the hold or the length of the hold as even as you keep your in and out breath the same length. Maybe not the same count. As you breathe in, hold, breathe out and hold, we've reached Samavritti 2 or the box breath. You might now visualize the sides of the box in front of you and guide your breath along those sides of the box. The box might have different lengths in the holds, but still even on either side. As you might choose to trace this box in your mind, keep the breathing practice going and acknowledge these edges that you are tracing. And that even this practice and the visualization of the box as a center somewhere. Keep the breath flowing in this way. Finishing your current round after the exhalation and returning to the natural flow of your breath. While this technique in itself might be calming, de-stressing, tapping into the parasympathetic nervous system, you might still find the effects lingering within you. While you could choose to release the mudra now, take a deep breath to reach your arms up. On the out breath, land the hands down comfortably to touch the ground. And we will change position as you may bring your feet to one side. If you have a block with you, place it to the front side end of the mat and come and join me in a standing position, but facing the long side of the mat. Now taking a wider stance in your feet, and you might comfortably turn your toes out towards the corners of the mat. Thinking about this extension into our edges, we'll take a breath in to reach the arms all the way out and up. And we'll bend both knees and the elbows to settle into a goddess form. As you settle in, keep standing tall. Have your hands wide spread out so there's energy flowing through the palm. The tailbone is rather facing towards the floor. A breath in to straighten the legs, reach the arms up, maybe the gaze, and returning back to the goddess form and breathing out. On the inhale, stretching back up. On the exhale, coming back to the goddess form. We'll repeat only 2 more breaths. And we will hold the last round in the goddess or Utthita Konasana. Make sure your shoulders are easy, your hands and fingers are active. And in this hold, there's the option of raising your heels off the ground. Release the heels and the arms along the sides of your body. Turning your right toes to the short edge of the mat. The left toes in so that the heel is turned out. In this slightly turned hip position, leave your legs long. Take a breath in to reach your arms out to shoulder height and out as you lean into triangle or trikonasana. Take a look down at the foot. Ground through the ball of the foot and even push the floor away with it. Reach towards the edges, up and down. Hold your gazing point either downwards or turn the head a little chin tuck and looking upwards. Are you still grounded through your feet? Are you touching onto your very edges, not only with the feet, but also with the fingers. As you breathe in, bend the front knee, lift your arms all the way up, turn your toes to the corners, and a breath out to return to the goddess and a hold. Spreading again your hands out, leaving shoulders reasonable, and the option of raising the heels again. As you lower the heels, also lower the arms along the sides of the body, turning your left toes to the short side edge of the mat, the right toes in so the heel is pointing to the other. On the breath in, open your arms out shoulder height. Looking over as you breathe out to tilt. While you might be looking down, push into the ball of the front foot, find your extension. So as you might know, my left arm is challenged. I will choose a modification here, hand in the thigh. And you might start to push into that ball of the foot to take you a little bit away from the floor into extension. And you might find the arms wide open to reach to the fingertips. Now you can maintain your gaze down, or you can start to turn the head here, and maybe there's a little chin tuck for you to look upwards. Keep yourself active from the floor, reaching into the posture, through the center, extending then into the arms. Then soften the front knee, release your arms, and step to the front short side end of the mat into a mountain pose. So while you might face the short side edge facing the screen, I am turned towards you. The palms of the hands might be looking forward, and I will take a step forward for the next posture as we need space behind us, hands that step towards the short front edge of your mat. With your breath in now, let your arms reach out, bring the hands to touch, and take an exhale to draw the hands into one of our centers, heart center. Starting to raise the sole of the right foot and the foot is flat. You might now tap your big toe behind or start to tilt all the way forward as we come into warrior 3. So the leg lifts up behind you unless you keep your big toe onto the floor. You might be even leaning towards a T shape here. An option, keeping hands at heart center or extending your arms forward. If you do, leave palms touching or facing. Warrior 3. As you take your back foot a bit out to the side, land the whole foot, bend the front knee, and take your arms up with you into warrior 1. Drawing your feet lightly toward each other, building a foundation here, the hips still facing forward. And if you feel just like myself right there, I'm not quite hip distance, wiggle your feet into position. Your gaze might be upwards here, even if it's without the tilt in the neck, just finding your centered gaze. On the breath in now, straighten the front leg and join the hands back at heart center. While you do so, start leaning forward into a half lift from your hips. The same that we've done in the straight triangle, push down into the ball of the front foot, helping your pelvis to adjust. Then bring the back of your right hand to the outside of the front leg and let the other hand rest in the side of the waist. Keep using the ball of the front foot. If you like, roll your left shoulder back. If this feels all right, you might even extend your left arm. Now, some of you might prefer a block down in front to assist the shape. Just variation. Take a bend into the front knee, swing your upper arm down and step your foot to meet the other, turning hands gently forward, drawing inner heels towards each other. A breath in to reach your arms up and out to bring hands to touch at heart center. Shifting the weight lightly to the right as you raise the sole of the left foot. And again, starting to tilt, you may practice the big toe on the floor and just leaning forward, lifting and tapping, or you might extend all the way, even tilting forward back to that T-like shape. Keep the length there in your spine and add the length into the back leg, right towards the heel of the foot. And if this feels good, could you extend your arms forward? These are just choices. Keep hands touching or palms facing if you like. Then stepping your back foot out to the side and grounding it at about hip distance. Bend into the front knee and your arms reaching upwards. Same here, you can always modify. Hands could be at the heart, hands might be touching or facing. Then draw your feet a little bit in towards each other and find your centered gazing point, preferably upwards. Whether you lift the chin too or just your gaze is up to you. Keep your foundation strong, the feet drawing in. Virabhadrasana 1 or Warrior 1. The next in-breath, straighten the front leg. The out-breath, bring the hands to heart center and start to lean halfway forward. As you come to the forward leaning, keep the spine long. If your feet need adjustment, do so, but start to press down into the ball of the front foot. Realigning and firming up around the pelvis. The back of the left hand against the outside of the leg or fingertips down onto a block. Right hand to the side of the waist. Maintain this length in your spine while you push down into the ball of the front foot. Could you roll your right shoulder back? This is perfect as it is. Maintain your steady gazing point or even raise your arm if that is comfortable for you. Leave yourself grounded and active from the floor upwards. Also active with hand against leg if the leg is also moving against your hand. Then a release with a swing of the upper arm and a step forward to find back into mountain pose. As your feet are parallel, the inner heels become active again. As you stand here, find that steady gazing point or close your eyes. Keep the softness around your knees, just by keeping your inner heels active. And find the ease around the center of your torso. And let that ease ripple up into the shoulders and the neck. On the next breath in, lifting your arms back up. Turn the toes outwards and breathe out for a squat. I will start with the forearms on the sides. And this is a position where you could stay, the spine reaching forward and long. If you want to come lower, you may use a block or not, as you could come down to the space between the feet or sit like I do now. Toes might be turned outwards. The elbows might come to the inside of your knees, and whether you're using a block or not, arms pressed together, elbows to the knees, and the spine becomes long. As you might find your steady gazing point or drishti, hold here. As you breathe, notice that this is a quite condensed shape, but there's still outer edges. And trace yourself inwards from there. Where is the center for you in this pose? Malasana, yogic squat. As you then next inhale, reach your arms forward around your spine. If you like, you can use the hands behind you or remove the block as it is and come to sit down quite quickly. I have supported myself today. I'm extending my legs out in front and you might do the same. Now, please be as comfortable as you can here. If you like a bit of support, you might pop a folded blanket underneath your hips. Don't have one, maybe use the end of the mat and roll that up. With your legs extended, your knees could be bent. Turn the toes up towards the ceiling. Ground your fingertips into the floor. Leave the shoulders at ease. Shoulder blades slightly closed. Find your steady gazing point internally or at your toes. Breathe in. And as you breathe out, sway or lean forward. And perhaps your belly is touching your thighs. The spine at this point is still long, your gaze is adjusted, and you might then choose to take a hold of the legs somewhere or keep the hold on the floor as you slowly lower the whole upper body. Paschimottanasana, or the seated forward fold, you could choose now to extend your legs further, but stay in tune with the back of the body and how you're generally doing. Practicing from your center is a very informed way of practice. As we usually do in these classes, we're mindful about our actions. Perhaps the out-breath is lengthening. As you next inhale, reaching halfway out of the form. And as you breathe out, slowly rising back to a seat. The aim is now to repeat this shape lying down on the backs. So first of all, I will remove my blanket. Perhaps I will have that here for later. If you know getting your hips up into the air is on the challenging side, maybe just for today, take the blocks. It's good to have it by your side. Then come to roll down onto your back. If you are interested to do the full pose of tranquility, you might watch that it is essential that your neck and shoulders are basically fine today. If they aren't, you might choose what I'm doing now, feet on the floor, hips up onto a block, perhaps higher. So if that is you, you might still get your legs up and lower them slightly over your body. You can try different heights of the block and see which one works better for you. For me, it's the lower setting here, gives the hips a tilt. If you choose to practice that without the block and neck and shoulders are fine, lifting your legs up. Now I've got a few things here in the way. I'll roll down. And perhaps you can get your hands to your shins and then rest the weight of your legs into your arms. pose of tranquility. So choosing your variation now, as you have your legs extended, perhaps more loosely into the air. Perhaps you get that little extra tilt so the legs are extended but hovering over your body. Perhaps you're even having extended arms holding your legs up. For the pose of tranquility, one really needs to find the center of balance. And you might have figured out over the course of the practice today, center of balance keeps changing. Center of posture keeps changing. Right in there is your true center though. So let's slowly release from the shape, removing a block from underneath, landing your feet down onto the floor, perhaps pulling in your blanket, and you might even roll up the end of it and tuck that gentle roll underneath the neck, leaving your arms out in the way. Palms might be facing up, and you could gently roll the head a few times over that neck support from side to side. So you're getting a gentle massage across the neck, and perhaps the turning of the head, releasing any tension that might have just come into this area from our previous shape. When you feel more balanced, head to either side, center it again. You may now use your bolster underneath the legs. You could also choose feet wide and knees falling in for constructive rest, or you might choose to slide the legs out, turn the toes outwards, and practice a full Shavasana. No matter your choices, either steady your gaze up to the ceiling or close the eyelids gently as you come to lie again on the floor. Acknowledge that your breath might be flowing. Acknowledge that right in there is energy. Your body is outstretched, so you can feel the edges, the body touching the mat, closing, air. Maybe the energy field that surrounds you. And from there, move inward. Come from your extremities and trace inward. Perhaps your intuition takes you to your center, as only when we know the outer sides and edges are we actually able to find our true center. Now, you may or may not have an idea where your center lies, but perhaps it is the practice of mindfulness and meditation that actually gets you there. You might like to release the idea that your mind needs to be silent to be in true meditation. The mind will never be. This is not about being perfect. So release that idea, perhaps too. It is about being fully present with yourself. let thoughts come and go with the same ease that you are currently breathing. As you might observe the breath, thoughts will still come and go, but let them do so as easily as the flow of your own breath is. And perhaps this practice eventually allows you to arrive where you are. Your breath is flowing with ease. Thoughts are coming and going with ease. Any thought seems to be sticking around, match it to the flow of your breath to let it go. What more do you notice right now? What is in this moment clouding your vision? See if you can take these thoughts into the idea that everything comes and goes as easily as your breath. As your breath continues in this gentle and easy pace of flow, notice whether perhaps you dropped a little into a state of relaxation, maybe dropped even into your center. Perhaps acknowledging where you perceive your center to be right now. This type of concentration, mindfulness, or meditation is a wonderful preparation to go even deeper. And you can do so safely at any time if you like. Let's expand back out to our edges. As you begin to deepen your breathing, become aware again of the energy movement that comes from within. Perhaps feeling this energy expanding from your center. And as the energy and the breath are expanding, could you begin movement or stretching? That might eventually take you to a seated position to join me in. And as your spine comes upright, the body is sitting with ease. Take a breath in to expand the arms once more and reach them up over the head. Then draw the hands down toward your heart center, maybe even touch your thumbs to the sternum. Eye gaze might be low or eyes closed. And we complete this practice with 3 rounds of the universal sound of Om. Perhaps you can feel the vibration of the Om somewhere around your center. As we start with an in-breath together now. From heart center, we bow and extend toward each other. Namaste.